Hi guys, this is the Life Embracing channel. My apologies for not having a video up last Monday. I was up north visiting my family, but this week's topic of triggers was quite appropriate because going up north was certainly one of mine. Triggers. My biggest trigger for me with my eating disorder is stress, and it's probably really only been recently that I've been able to define that, because it's not all stress that triggers me back into my anorexia. For me, I think my biggest stress is if I fall back into my belief of I'm not worthy, or I'm not loved, or I'm not deserving. And the people that tend to do that to me in my life are those that are like my friends, or those that, or my family, or those that are closest to me. And that was just a pattern growing up in my life as well, that those that I loved or those that were close to me ended up hurting me the most, and the meaning that I took from that was that I'm not deserving, or I'm not worthy, or I'm not loved. And that thought behaviour, or that pattern's played out through my life. And so, like, I think I talked about in one of my last videos that one of my friends walked out of my life, and there's a long story behind that, and that was probably about the third time actually now that that's happened. And I just thought, because she was a friend, and the things that she was saying and that it meant that I wasn't loved, and I kind of really fell back into that I'm undeserving and so on. And I think for me those core beliefs very much go along with the anorexia, because I start to self-punish and self-harm, and my other trigger really is my family. And there's a lot of really intense emotions and feelings involved around my family, and this last week that's just passed, due to some really probably tough circumstances, I ended up having to go up there, and I spent 5 days up there, and that was really hard. That was one of my biggest triggers, and just dealing with so much pain and grief and anger and rage. And I've spoken about in my videos before that I haven't really had anything to do with my family for about 7 years now, and I practically divorced them, and so to go up there was certainly a huge challenge. How I dealt with that, or how I deal with my triggers, I think previously was just to try and avoid them, but I don't think that really worked, because if stress is one of my biggest triggers, I don't think that we can avoid stress in our lives. I think there's always going to be some level of stress that comes up. And for me, when I was going up north, and even in dealing with my friend, I think how I'm now learning to deal with it is to stand in my authentic self, to stand in my truth and really own that and claim that. Because when I'm standing in that place, I'm nurturing myself, and I'm loving myself, and I'm caring for myself, and I'm feeling that I'm deserving, and I'm worthy, and that I'm deserving of love and stuff within my life, and that feels quite strong, and it feels centered, and it feels grounded. And so when I was up north, that I spent a long time with my friends, just talking to them about this energy that I wanted to hold on to, that I wanted to carry and be in while I was up there, and really own it and claim it. And for the most part I managed to do that. I think probably 80% of me was standing in my truth and my power, and 20% of me, it still felt like that really young child that was just screaming and fighting and scared, and feeling like the environment was toxic. But it was just that larger part of myself just talking to this little part and just reassuring her that she'd be okay and that she's loved and that she is worthy and, you know, that she's safe. I suppose where I am at the moment is that I see it that at least I'm aware of one way of dealing with my triggers is just standing in my truth and giving myself that love and that nurture and that reassurance that, hey, I am okay. The other way that I deal with my triggers is that I do have some really cool friends that are really supportive for me, and if I'm feeling triggered then I can phone them up and they can talk me through it and support me and encourage me, and that's, you know, awesome as well. I used to write a lot, going back into my teenage years when I was triggered quite a fair bit, and my anorexia was a lot worse back then. But I used to write a lot because I think that bottling up my feelings and not sharing them and expressing them didn't help, and back then I didn't really have anybody to talk to, and I didn't feel it was safe enough to talk to anybody, and so I used to journal and write a lot, so that's also really helpful. Thank you guys too for all of your support and your encouraging comments and emails. It's great. I'm slowly getting back on track, and I hope to be here more often. No, in fact I will be here more often now. Hope you guys are having an awesome week, and I will catch up with you very soon. See ya.